Nick, let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. The OTA period has popped up, and everybody is trying to make the transition into this new Saints team. Obviously, there's a lot of changes, especially around the key position of the ball. Derek Carr has come into the quarterback position, and the Saints have found their quarterback for the next few years at the very least. I think this is going to be a great pickup for them, but he may need a little bit of help trying to get into this Saints offense the best he could, and he has found some help in a very interesting way.
Yeah, Miles, I think Saints fans will be really intrigued by the story that you dug up. But before we get into this news, Saints fans got a really interesting question for you guys to answer, as always, in the comment section below. Who is the one New Orleans Saint who had a great career in the NFL and should be in the Hall of Fame, but isn't? The one Saint that should be in the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, but for whatever reason hasn't been getting the chance. Give us that one guy that you think deserves to be in Canton in the comment section below. And make sure you stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear a word from our partner in today's video, and that is Neuro. They've got a bunch of great products to give you a fast and easy energy boost. We love to take their mints and gums before the show to give us the energy to put out this awesome Saints content. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to learn more about Neuro and to get access to our special discount code. That's the real prize. All right, Miles, what you got? What's the latest out of New Orleans?
Yes, Nick. So I alluded to it, Derek Carr and this new Saints offense, but maybe he needs a little bit of help transitioning to it. And who else to help him better than his old friend from the Raiders? And that is Jon Gruden is back in town with Derek Carr. Old friends meet up, and I'm going to read the article here right now, Nick. It's been nearly 20 months since Jon Gruden resigned as head coach of the Raiders, and in that time, he has kept his distance from the NFL. However, that finally changed this week after Gruden decided to fly to New Orleans to help an old friend, according to NOLA.com. Gruden has been spending some time with Saints this week in an effort to help Derek Carr transition from the offense he ran with the Raiders to the offense he'll be running with the Saints. The Saints offense should already be somewhat familiar to Carr, and that's because it's similar to what he ran with Raiders while Jon Gruden was the coach. Gruden's offense is similar to the one New Orleans Saints because the Saints offense was originally installed by Sean Payton, although he's no longer there. Not much has changed since his exit because the man running the Saints offense now, Pete Carmichael, was an assistant under Payton for 16 seasons in New Orleans. This was all from CBSSports.com, Nick. So I think it's really cool that they see the line there. The Gruden offense, the Payton offense, very similar. And then he says, hey, Payton is not available. Obviously, he's not coming down from Denver to help Derek Carr transition into his old offense and run it more efficiently. But the next best thing is a guy like Jon Gruden, a very, very good coach in his day, and he ran a very similar offense to that of Sean Payton. And he has a very good connection with Derek Carr already, obviously have been his coach on the Raiders. So I think this is a really great move, showing that the Saints front office is wanting Derek Carr to have every single opportunity possible to succeed. They're going to give him every tool available to him to help him get acclimated to this offense and get the Saints rolling, Nick. I'm really interested to hear what your thoughts are on why the Saints bring in Gruden and how this is going to help Derek Carr.
Yeah, so there's two big reasons why. But before we get into it, let's take a step back and look at why the connection here between Gruden and Sean Payton really matters. So you can trace this all the way back to the 1980s and the San Francisco 49ers and the Bill Walsh era, right? That's when you hear the term West Coast offense. It comes from that era. And under Bill Walsh, then his offensive coordinator, Mike Holmgren, who later was the head coach of the Packers and the Seahawks, there was basically just a massive tree of assistants under him that went on to be head coaches in their own right. Jon Gruden falls under that bucket. Another guy was it by the name of Jim Fossil, was also from that West Coast offense kind of tree, from that Mike Holmgren, Bill Walsh, that Stanford, San Francisco 49er lineage. Fossil was the head coach of the New York Giants in the late 1990s, early 2000s, where Sean Payton got his first jump start as a quarterback coach and later offensive coordinator before Payton went to Dallas and then New Orleans as a head coach. So you can see the connection. They all have the same sort of family tree treeing up to that Bill Walsh, Mike Holmgren, a West Coast offense style. So stylistically, they're going to be running a lot of the same things. And what I mean by stylistically, just sort of the footwork, the thought process, how you handle certain situations, what the quarterback is expected to do. Because there's some offenses like the spread that have different sets of footwork, right? You're a lot more in the shotgun. It's a lot more quick reads, quick throws. Like the McVay Shanahan offense, a lot more motions, a lot more play action bootleg, that kind of thing. It's just a different set of tools that a quarterback has to use. But Derek Carr obviously already has a lot of those tools because he ran that offense or a very similar derivative of it with the Raiders. But bringing in Jon Gruden does, and I think this is what's really smart, it allows him to translate it. Because even though stylistically it's going to be very similar, the verbiage that they're going to use is going to be different. So when Jon Gruden calls something a spider 2 Y banana famously, Carmichael and the Saint Sean Payton offense may call it 84X dagger. Not literally that, but it could be something like that. It could be exactly the same play, but just a different way of calling it. But it will have the same footwork and same process that Derek Carr has to go through. So one of the things that can help Derek Carr pick up this offense faster is sitting with Jon Gruden. And when Carmichael says, hey, that's a 84X dagger, Gruden's like, that's 72 wide banana with the Raiders. And Derek Carr's like, got it. I can click, I can make that translation, and I can run the offense and get a hang on it quicker. So I think that's a really smart move by the New Orleans Saints, because it could have been a long process, right? They could have used the entire mini camps. They could have used all the OTAs. They could use all training camp, all preseason to kind of hopefully force feed Derek Carr and get him to, really translate it on his own. Bringing in Gruden and help him translating it now is really smart. That'll allow him to get through the bumps and hurdles during OTAs, during early part of training camp. So that way, when it really matters, week one of the regular season, he fully understands the terminology that Carmichael wants to do, and the Saints offense will be deadly because of it.
All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.